So hi everybody and welcome back. This is Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 53 and in this video we implement a little bit gameplay, and the way we implement it is very simple. We will just record the instructions or show a little text, and the player follows this instructions and then try to solve this case. Alright, let me show you what I mean with that. Let's start this game here. Let's see. And you can see that was a recording, so that was the first instruction. That was just for test purposes. Let's walk around, and now we are searching and we are going out. And then we will also pop up something like that, so text, and then we have to choose if we are using text, recording, or both, or make it optional for the player to choose. This is all the settings we have now to set up. And of course, now that was an instruction, I have to use here a lighters, because when I go down and have no lighter, then I see nothing. Then we have to search this lighter, and I placed it just here for test purposes. That works. Now I have a lighter. Now I can light it on and we see something outside. That's much better. And then we will give a little bit more instructions, depends on the story. So the thing what we are talking about in this video is just how to set up this instructions, and you have to start also a little bit with level design. For example, you can see I just put here a lighter, a point light. Then I went here to the details panel, and then I just changed here the light color, and you see this light color looks more like a horror game light. You see it's not a white light, it's more so a reddish light. That looks a little bit more more like a horror game. Okay, that's good. And then you have also think about how you place your objects. For example, I made here an instruction. The player should, before he can go out, he should I will have to also give an info that he accidentally dropped his lighter anywhere, and then you have to search it, because this was missing here when I went here out. When you try to press, for example, we have also instruct the player that he should use the key binding, perhaps, for example, for turn on lighter, and then when he tries to turn on the lighter, that we say, oh, probably accidentally dropped here, search the lighter, and all this kind of setup we have to do. But let's start step by step. First of all, how we make this record instruction. The record instructions are actually very easy, because let me show you. We go first to the map which we want. This is our map here. Then I set this record instructions in my game mode. So I open up this game mode. Here's my game mode. Let's go here, double click on it, and you can see here is nothing. The only thing what I did for test purposes was just spawn this sound 2D, and I use not play sound 2D, so I use not this node here, play sound 2D, and the reason for that is here we have no reference. Here I can make a reference, and reference means I can later stop the sound, also depends on the situation. That's why this one is better. And then we can here, if you have this play sound 2D, I mean spawn sound 2D, you need this spawn version here, spawn sound, this here. And with this one here, we can use a reference like I showed you in the last video. Let's promote this to a variable. Let's call this here perhaps reference, reference, and then perhaps write here the story what we have here. Then start story gameplay. There, I called it just this way. This is the recording what I have, and that's it. And you can see I'm just calling this one at start. Let's demonstrate this fast again. We go here out. Let's start here. Let's see. And you can see that was it already. And why I can't go out now. All right, then I go this way out. All right, so that was all that. Very simple. The only thing what you have to do is, of course, make the recordings here, because you can see I recorded this one, and in my last video I showed you I'm using Audacity. Audacity is very simple. not too difficult, and we don't need too much understand about Audacity. That's the best part. You set it one time up, and then I can record here now all what I need. And here I give the instructions here. Let's see, let's continue here a little bit with the gameplay. Let's go, this is our map. And let's see, that was the way how I instruct. And the next thing is here, for example, I go here, you can see for certain places I used a collision box, and the reason for that is the collision box is very simple. You can see you are colliding, and then you can call this instructions again. And instead of trigger box, I just created a blueprint. You can see we can create a blueprint. Let me show you how I created this blueprint fast. It's very easy, very straightforward. You go to your folder, your game folder, you create a new folder, you call this new folder blueprints, and then in blueprints I made a new folder again because there are different kind of blueprints, and in this case I want to make a folder for gameplay blueprint, so I called it gameplay. And then here in gameplay, right click, you go here, click on blueprint class like old time, then we click actor because we want to place it in our scene. You can see I placed it here. I called it then bp underscore and then important is here that you call this blueprint accordingly where you want to use it. For example, here I wanted use lighter instruction here. Let's call here, I called it here trigger lighter. I call it now use lighter. So I know use lighter. So I know when I overlap with this blueprint here later, the instruction use lighter is called. Let's open this one up. You can see it's just normal blueprint, and we have to add, of course, this collision box. So we go here to the left side, here click add, write collision box, and then you can see when you write call, there are 3 options, so you don't have to use a collision box. I use it a collision box because I need only just this overlap here, and that's already it. Compile, save, and then we can switch to the graph section because this collision box has to be implemented. So here on top from viewport, you go here to the event graph, and now we can code this. We don't need any other nodes. So what you can do is you can here click this box here again and right click, add event, and then on add on component begin overlap. Or what you can do also, you can go here, select this collision blocks, scroll down, and here you can also add it from here. So you have different kind of options. Let's use this one here on component begin overlap, and this is the same thing here. You can of course do it from here as well. And by the way, I made it too difficult, sorry. You can see in details this node here as well, and then you can click it directly here. Sorry about that. All right, we have 3 options then. Okay, good. And now you choose your player character. In my case, it's just the horror engine character because I use the horror engine. So I use the horror engine player character, horror engine, and then in my case, cast to horror engine character. So we have made the cast. That's only for this overlap event. Compile, save. Let's write here, just comment overlap with player character, overlap player character, something like that. And perhaps we should not use this one here, just this one. And then we can go on. The next thing is very simple. The next thing what we need is just to instruct what the player should do. And like I said, if I use recording is super easy because what I do most time is just spawn to sound 2D. Here it is, the spawn sound. Of course, I need then this recording file here, and then I can make this promote to variable just if I want interrupt it faster. So let's first of all, we need of course here the sound. In my case is this instruction sound, so I already recorded this one. Let's go here, I go to story, and in my folder again I go here to story. In my story I have here the pre-story, that was the pre-story text, the pre-story recording, And in my story, I have also this gameplay story recording. And you can see I have these two files. That was the start sound. And this is and that one is the use case. That one I want use. So I write here use. I make here a reference because perhaps I want, oops, not this one, promote to variable here. And then write here ref for reference, and then here this name here that I know what it is, use lighter, something like that. And this reference we need only when we want to stop it early or we are interrupting or something like that, and then we have to stop it faster than normal, because here we can write later when we have this reference stop, you can see, and this will be stopped here what we activated. That's the reason. So here a comment and say here instruct player with instruct player with records. That's okay for description purposes. And now we have this one, and you can see that's already the setup what I need. And when now you have just to place this. Let's see, we can place it here, perhaps here other ways too. So I go my folder, I go to my blueprints, here's my gameplay. This is the one which we created, and let's place it perhaps in this side because I already have it here. And here I can go out too. So just for test purposes here. And then you can scale it like you want. This one is okay. You can see scaling are the scale tools here on top, or just WER, I think, and so on. And then very easy. So you can use this one here, and then so. And when the player is coming here through, after you made it a little bit better than me, let's scale this a little bit higher and here higher. Okay, so and now let's see if I find. And when I turn here around and oops, what's going on? Okay, that was too much behind, but you see it worked. Just and then of course you have to do a little bit level design, not like me, it was too much behind, perhaps here in front anywhere. Let's see if I find. Okay, you can see something like that, and then we make the next instruction, which is okay. And then I would make one more instruction. Press as I aim for. Press F4 to use the lighter, and then the problem is the lighter is we accidentally dropped the lighter, and then I would instruct the player. Okay, we have to find the lighter here, and then he would search a little bit. Here is the lighter, and we can set this up, and then he can use. And of course we have also set up, after we found this lighter, we have here that this one is not triggering again after I have a lighter. This is a special setup, but you see that's all what we have to do. And one more thing I want to show, because now we are starting to make this gameplay. There is one more thing, because this one was the recording, and now we can make this, like I said at the start, with text as well, right? And text is very simple as well, but not so simple because it's much work to write again. What I mean with that is, first of all, we create a widget. Let's make here. So after this one, for example, let's create a widget. And this widget, of course, we have to create first. That's why we disconnect this. We create a widget, and this widget will contain this text here, what I just say as well here as a widget. Let's go and create this. So we go here to our folder, we go to our widgets, and you can see we have here, I created here a gameplay folder in my widget. I open this one up, and then I create here this gameplay widget. And of course I will create, and there are different kind of ways you can do this. One way is you create millions of widgets here and just call them and destroy them. This definitely works, and perhaps I make it, but there is a better way. You create just one widget, and then you are popping up the text, but it's this needs more a setup. But let me show you first this one widget way, and then this million widgets way, and then we will figure out in the next video perhaps the 1 widget way. All right, so let's go to the million widget way, which means we will create for every instruction a widget. We pop it up and destroy it. It's not efficient and waste a lot of space, so probably I will not do this in the next video. I will try to use the other one, but this one is only for fast solutions. If you have no time, just make this one. The other, like I said, will need setup. So what we do is right click, go to user interface. Here is the widget, click on widget, and we use a user widget. And user widget, let's call it WBP underscore. And you can see here gameplay play text is one, but if you make many widgets, then you have to write the instruction which you are using. So in this case was this user lighter, the widget use lighter, so that you know which widget you want spawn. That's very important that you make it accordingly to the instruction. And like I said, this widget makes only one thing, which is just not the best solution, but whatever. You create a canvas like all time, and then just one text. Put this one text in, and that's almost it, right? So it's fast actually, it's not so slow. Like I said, the only problem with this approach is, and then you anchor this one here on the bottom perhaps. Let's anchor it and let's make it a little bit bigger and write the right text here. We go to the details panel. We have still selected this one and write the text with the instruction. And my instruction was it's dark, use lighter, something. Oops, dark, use lighter, use lighter, use lighter. Something like that, very simple. And then you justify this here in the middle and make it a little bit bigger, something like so. And that's it. That's my first widget, and this widget we are just adding now here. And you can see I created this one. I go here and now I call this one here. I search this name, widget blueprint underscore. It is called use lighter. All right. And then here add to viewport, light all time. And then I wanted that this widget, let's comment this fast, widget instruction, something like that. And then we go to the next point, and the next point is I want not that this widget stays along only for 4 seconds or 5 seconds, how long you want. Let's make this, you can make here a delay. And after this delay, you just destroy this widget again. So, and then you can drag it out. So you select this widget here, drag out, and then you write here remove, and then there is a section which says remove from parent, which means you are just removing this widget and not all other widgets. That's very important. So don't use remove all or something like that. There was another widget which remove all widgets. You have to use this widget, this note here, remove from parent. That's very important. It is only removing this one widget from the viewport, not the player input widget or something like that. That's very important here. And with that said, that's almost it. Perhaps here the delay, let's set it here to 3 seconds so the player can read it, or 4 seconds, it's better. Or let's make, yeah, 4 seconds so the player have enough time to read it. And here we make right here just comment and remove widget after delay, something like that. And we have this. So you can see these are our blocks, very simple, straightforward, compile, save. And we have to call, of course, this widget now. And how we call this, we go back to our this one here, to our blueprint, because here's the recording and I want this widget to be called here as well. So let's select our blueprint here, or you select it in your content drawer here anywhere, but here when you have it already placed, you can just select it, go to the outliner here, and then here in type it is blue. You can just click it and it will open up. So we are here, and actually I already added it. I was only with my mind in the wrong place, sorry for that. So we have added this one, so it is already added in our blueprint. Perfect. And the blueprint will be triggered when we walk over it. Nice. Okay, this is fine, which means when I start now the game, let's see if you see the first one has no text, but I go here. Okay, I forget the full stop there, but it's dark. It worked. You see, it worked, and then you have adjust, of course, the text a little bit and so on. But like I said, this solution is very bad because this one, it's very easy to do. It is just from performance perhaps bad because they say, yeah, if you create now for every instruction a widget, which means you are creating over 100, over 200 or whatever widgets, and that will cause a lot of space loss. And you should avoid this. And in the next video, I want to show you that instead of using this one, we can use perhaps a table and then use the table to create one widget, and this widget is all time spawning this table's content, depends on the situation. And you can see this is more a little bit take more time to set up, because now we have to create a table, then we have to find a way to all time call the right one at the right place. So it is, let's say, more work than this one, because this one is just create, place, finish, go to next, create, place, finish. But the downside, you have a lot of space lost because you are creating now all-time widgets. And then the next downside is probably also performance lost a little bit, but we will see. That's it for this video. You can see that we can plan here step by step the story. And when I go back to my level for demonstration the whole thing, so we would start here with the main menu normally. Then we start here. Here is our things. Here are the controls. These are all prototypes right now. Here's our pre-story. All right, we got it. And then we start. And then here is our setup. And when I go here in the dark, and oh, I made one more mistake. Of course, there are many things which we have to set up. When you set up something like that, first of all, when we overlap this, oops, where is that? Let me go here to this level. When we overlap this widget here, or this one, first of all, we have do it once. So we use this do once node here. We go back. This is our blueprint, which we just created here. I open this blueprint up again, and here at the start, not up the cast, we can do this one here. After this one, here in the middle, we can call do once node. Do once node is do once. This do once node here is just doing this here behind one time, even if you overlap it more times later, and that's very good. And we are not resetting it, we are just using it. Let's comment it and write it just do once. Do once, even more overlaps. All right, that's okay. Something like that. That was very important. And of course, I should give here an info again. I showed you that. So use lighter, and let's give here an info, right? Perhaps we can write here, press F4, and you can see the problem is when I give here the info, this text here, you can try to make it in one line, but this text what I used here is just one line text, and this way you can change here the text. Instead one line text, you can go for multi-line text. Perhaps that's much better, and then you can use not only one line, more lines. But here, let's make it short. We will set up this next video. Press 4. Press 4. Key 4. Something like that. And then we put this here. So press key 4. That's okay. Let's go here a little bit down. All right. Let's test this one more time. And there is, of course, the next setup. What you have to think about it when you make two lighters. For example, here is a dark side and here is a dark side, that when you already overlapped one time, and has sent the same information, for example, this and this is the same widget normally, that it when it's already triggered one time, you can set here, make here a boolean. For example, when you go here, it triggers, and then you make a boolean, and then boolean says just it is already triggered, so don't trigger it again when you go, for example, here to another blueprint. Or I don't know if this is, oh, let's test it. Sorry, we can test this if this is now triggering here as well. Let's delete this one. Let's place this blueprint here. I don't know if this Unreal Engine is triggering it second time, because on the other side I already have set it to once, but I think it's not working like that. But let's see. I can use lighter. You can see here I should use the lighter as well. Let's put it here. Let's scale it a little bit. And okay. And the problem is, the nice thing would be when this one would already count to once here as well. Let's see. So when I go here in, so this one, press F4 is next thing, and this one is now triggered. The problem is now, this one is also triggered, you see, and that's a problem. What you have to do is, if they are the same thing here, this blueprint and this blueprint, you have to create a boolean or a check so that when you have triggered already one text, that you are not popping up it again. Because that's enough, I think. All right, I think you get the idea. In the next video, we will continue with that. This is so more or less the setup what I want to use. I would prefer, because we are trying to make a game in 7 days, only one version instead of two, or to make it complicated. I would perhaps use just a million of widgets just for this, but later I will convert this more to, like I said, a table. Just create one widget and the table is spawning then the text what we need, depends on the situation. That makes more sense, but takes more time. So we will see in the next video this, and if you have any questions, any suggestions, like all time, write it in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye, good luck, and like all time, never give up, have fun.